Have you ever felt that tension right before you're about to be around people, whether it's new people or even your own existing friends? It's like you suddenly become hyper aware of yourself, and then you start thinking things like, do they even like me? Or do I look awkward? And all these thoughts are swirling. But what if I told you that that feeling and that tension isn't actually because you are awkward, and it's not your personality or your social skills, your body language either? It's coming from something way deeper, and it's probably not what you think. In this episode, I'm going to walk through 10 of the most common thoughts that you might be having in these moments that are quietly sabotaging your friendships, and how to reframe them so that you can actually feel like yourself and feel confident around people again. Hey, I'm Zoe Asher, a friendship coach who has spent the past 15 years sharing meals with over 500 strangers in order to find out exactly what it takes to build extraordinary friendships to help you level up yours. So I get that feeling, that jitteriness, that tension that you can so often feel whenever you are about to be with a group of people, or maybe it's even your own friends. It's this mental game that we play with ourselves. And to be honest with you, the thoughts that we let go up here in our mind are directly impacting the level and depth and quality of the friendships in our life. And as a friendship coach, I'm hearing all the time about the thoughts that are swirling in our mind that are holding us back from getting to a level of depth that we're hoping for in these relationships. So I'm going to go through the list of the top 10 that I hear, along with the reframes and the mindset shifts necessary to give you the confidence you need to build even richer friendships, or maybe it's build new friendships altogether. And these are in no particular order. These are just the 10 that I thought of first. The first thought that you might be having that's sabotaging your friendships is you're thinking, I don't belong here. I don't belong in this group. I don't belong in this room. I just feel like I don't fit in. Here's why this thought is a problem. Because when you're saying that, you're projecting it onto people. So you're going to find reasons why you believe that you actually don't belong. And so a simple reframe, which I do every time I walk into a new environment, is I tell myself, or I'll say under my breath, I belong in the room. And the reason why I say that is because I want to be training my brain to be looking for reasons as to why I do belong in the room. What is my special uniqueness that I can utilize here? What conversations can I have because I'm on the lookout for figuring out why I belong in this room? Maybe there is something that you want to ask one of your friends. Maybe it's for help or advice. Maybe you want to invite them somewhere to something, but this thought slips in your mind. This could be sabotaging your friendships. You're thinking the thought, I'm bothering them, or I'm a burden to them. Now, the reason that this is a problem is because you aren't actually asking for data and truth to know if that is reality or not. You're just almost answering for them and not giving anyone the opportunity to tell you whether you are bothering them or not. And I say that because, as juvenile as it sounds, to have a conversation for someone to be like, hey, you're not bothering me. Sometimes we need that. And I know that maybe that just made you feel so weird, like, oh, that would feel so vulnerable to be like, hey, I feel like I'm bothering you. Is that true? Let it feel vulnerable. That's how you get the truth, is by letting people in and sharing, hey, here's where I'm not sure about it, but I want you to be the person that sets it straight so that I'm not guessing anymore. You're not a bother. You're not a burden. What if we reframed it to, I'm not going to answer for other people? Just something like that. The moment that you feel yourself creating an assumption in your mind about yourself, reframe it. Actually, I don't know that that's true. I cannot answer for other people. Or in that same vein, you want friends to hang out to something, you're creating this event. Maybe you're thinking this thought that's quietly sabotaging your friendships. You're thinking, they're too busy. I don't want to invite them. I don't even have time to talk to them because I know that they're too busy in life right now. They just had a kid. They just don't have the capacity. Did they say that? Or are you saying that for them? I say this because I learned this the hard way. A couple years ago, one of my close friends had just had her second child. And so assumption from me was, well, I have this event, but I'm not going to invite her because I know she just had the baby. She's going to be too busy. It would be, probably more of a frustration for her to have to go through the gymnastics of saying, hey, just a reminder, I had a kid, can't come, of course. So based on that assumption and not asking them, I thought they're too busy. And guess what happened? She reached out to me afterwards and said, hey, did I hurt you? Did I do something wrong? Because I just found out I wasn't invited to this. And so now I'm really not sure what's going on. And I had to embarrassingly say, nope, you didn't do anything wrong at all. I just decided for you and made a decision that I thought you were too busy, that you wouldn't want to come, attend, show up. And she said to me, please give me the opportunity to answer for myself next time. I would have loved to, even if I couldn't be there, say, hey, thank you so much. It makes me feel really seen and cared for. I cannot make it, but please, of course, no, I want invited to the next time around. So lesson learned the hard way for me. That's why I'm saying it. Do not answer for other people. Do not have this thought of they're too busy. If they've told you that, then sure. But if you're saying it without them, then you need to reframe it to, I'm going to ask them anyways. Quick pause for a second. If you're currently questioning a friendship in your life, thinking, is this time for the friendship to end? What do? I don't know what's happening. I made something that I think is really going to help. Most adults were never actually taught how to evaluate our friendships. So we stay too long in the wrong ones, or we walk away from the right ones. That's why I created a free guide called 12 Questions to Ask Before You End a Friendship. It will walk you through the exact questions that you need to ask and think through on your own to figure out whether a friendship needs repair, a real conversation, or it's time to let go altogether. I've spent the last 5 years working as a friendship coach, and my insights on relationships have been featured in Bloomberg, Newsweek, Success Magazine, and more. So if you want clarity on a confusing friendship in your life, grab the free guide using the QR code you see on the screen or the first link you see in the description below. Let's finally get some clarity on where we stand with those friendships in our life. And on that note, when it comes to hanging out, this is just something I want to touch on because I often hear whenever you run into someone, maybe at the grocery store you haven't seen for a while, this is the conversation. Hey, how are you doing? What's up? It's like small talk. And then at the end, it ends with something like this. Oh my gosh, we should hang out soon. Oh my gosh, yes, let's do it. And then you go your separate ways. But here's what didn't happen. Scheduling a time to hang out, because soon isn't a day in the calendar. Okay, so I'm saying this because when you say, let's hang out soon, or someone says to you, let's hang out soon, here's what I do. I whip out my phone and I say, great, I'd love to, what do you have within the next 3 weeks? And I'll literally put it in my calendar right then, because what you schedule happens, especially as adults. And maybe like, oh, I don't have anything in the next 3 weeks. Oh, I need to talk to my spouse. I got to see our calendar. That's fine. Just follow up with them in 24 hours. Intentionality is the differentiator in adult friendships. That is what creates deep, meaningful friendships, is a level of intentionality and caring to actually make it happen, which often comes from going first. Okay, I went on a tangent, but I thought that was important. Okay, so maybe you are hanging with a new group of people and your thought is, they don't like me. Now, here's why this thought is quietly sabotaging your friendships. Because now you're looking for reasons to figure out why any micro expression that they might be giving is validating your whole hypothesis that they don't like you. But no one said it to you other than yourself. And that's dangerous because it's like we're looking through the world with a completely different set of glasses where everything is blurred and we're not looking in reality to what could be true. And I say this because there is plenty of research on rejection. In fact, Marissa Franco, she is a friendship researcher, and she has found that conclusively, people are way less likely to reject you than you think they are. Just period, hands down, point blank, across the board, people are less likely to reject you than you think. People actually like you more than you think they do. There's also this thing called the mere exposure theory, where just by being in someone's presence on a consistent basis makes someone like you objectively more, just because you're in their presence. So don't knock just continuing to show up and overriding the thought that your brain might be telling you in the form of a lie saying, they don't like me. Here's how you can reframe that. I am worth getting to know. You have to believe that down to your core. Because if you believe that you are worth getting to know, then you can face the truth that you don't need everyone to like you. You just need the right people to like you, and for you to find the right people that you like doing life with and building friendships with too. Now, this one is along the lines of paranoia, but I know we've all thought it at one point. And often I hear this one happens at the gym for people, but it could happen, like I said, anywhere. A harmful thought is everyone's looking at me, everyone's staring at me. Now, that paranoia makes you, instead of look outward and be present for opportunities to connect with other people, it pulls you insular. It pulls you inside and gives you that kind of motivation to want to isolate, which is the exact opposite thing that we are trying to do. And the reason I'm going through all these mindset pieces right now is because building incredible friendships starts with your mindset before you do anything else. Building friendships is the actions that happen after you have locked in who you want to be as a friend and you making a decision. I don't want to be lonely anymore. I'm worth getting to know. I am going to build meaningful friendships. I am going to start meaningful conversations with people. When we are reframing our mindset, that is where we unlock all the momentum. And I am telling you this because I used to be a very negative and sarcastic person, and it bit me in the butt. And when I started doing mindset shifts, reframes, and also paired it with gratitudes every day, everything started to change because I started embodying and becoming the type of friend that I was looking for. A friend that was confident, secure in themselves, wanted to care about others, was looking for opportunities to connect, and so many more characteristics and attributes on top of that. But it all starts up here. That's why I'm focusing this entire episode on how you can change those thoughts and change the friendships in your life too once we nail this. Okay, so everyone's staring at me. Objectively, that is not true. People aren't paying attention to us as much as we think they are. And I would say, if you're thinking that thought specifically at the gym, take a second and then look around randomly and you'll maybe make eye contact with two people, but that's just because they noticed someone was starting to look in their direction. We're all focused on ourselves, okay? Nobody is paying attention to you like they think they are. And that is good. That is freeing. When you're in a one-on-one conversation, sure, that is when you want someone to be focused on you and vice versa. But at large, at scale, let's not lie to ourselves. Nobody's paying attention to us like we think they are. This thought could be holding back your friendships or maybe potential friendships is because you walk into an environment and you're immediately thinking, oh my gosh, I'm too awkward for this. I'm so awkward, just objectively. Like everything about me, I'm so awkward. It's a quick spiral. I go across the country speaking to people, teaching them how to build rich, meaningful friendships. And every time that I have a speaking engagement, I ask this question at the beginning of my talk. Who in the room feels like you're awkward meeting new people? Every hand in the room goes up. So here's the reality. You're not awkward. The process and concept of meeting new people objectively feels awkward, but it's not you that's awkward. Why does this feel awkward? Well, because our bodies are scanning for threats. That's just when we're in a new place, we are scanning for threats. Where is the danger around us? And when you're in a conversation with someone, as much as we hate small talk, we cannot blow past it because small talk is what we're using to settle both of our brains down when we're talking to someone to realize, okay, we're good. Everything kind of feels normal. We're having a normal conversation. Okay. And you're moving forward after that. The concept, the process is awkward. You are not. So you need to throw that thought out entirely, reframe it, and rewrite it. Another variant of that is, oh, I'm going to look stupid, or I do look stupid, or I'm going to mess this up. And it's important for you to not tell your mind that, Because what we tell our minds, we're going to start believing. And the more we believe and latch onto something, the harder it becomes for someone to speak actual truth to override that thought in your life. Here is the truth. You may feel like you're going to mess this up because maybe you have messed up a friendship before. Maybe you have felt stupid saying something before. But you cannot use those isolated examples to project your entire future through that. And along with that, here's also the truth. When you're getting to know someone, you have nothing to be afraid of. And I say this because maybe you're thinking you just don't understand what happened to me last time. I've been taken advantage of. People have used me just because I was so compassionate. Like anytime I try something, people make fun of me for it. I don't know what it is for you, but just because a group of people or one person caused you to feel this way, hurt you, used you, made you feel this sense that you're feeling, doesn't mean that the next person will. And we absolutely cannot project that onto everybody we meet in the future. That is so unfair, not only to ourselves, but more importantly, it's unfair to them. We need to let every interaction we have with a new person be a brand new slate. I get to build trust with this person from the jump, from the beginning. I get to build rapport, build depth with them. We cannot keep comparing past experiences. Yes, it can guide us, and also we can't let it lock us up and halt us from the potential deepened friendships that could come on the other side of that risk. So here's what I tell myself, being someone who was betrayed many times over. I can trust myself. I am safe. I have nothing to be afraid of. And let's say that you feel this immense pressure because maybe you're in a state of loneliness right now, that you're going to an event and you're like, I need to make a friend. Just want to do a quick reframe to that thought. Instead of thinking I need to make a friend, what if we change the goal to I'm going to have a meaningful conversation today? And the reason I say that is because we can't actually control if someone receives us and wants to be friends in a certain time frame that we're thinking. What we can control is, are we going to have a meaningful conversation? Because that's dependent on the intentionality and type of questions and curiosity we give and present to the person in front of us. Okay, here's another really damaging thought. They don't care about me. Whew, now I know this happens more often than not for most of us. There's one thing that happens and we just let it blow up in our minds. So I've been guilty of it. And this is what hit me. Was when I had that thought, they don't care about me. And then I immediately asked myself, who told me that? Who told me that they don't care about me? I actually couldn't find who said that. Because you know who said it? Me. I projected a thought that wasn't rooted in truth onto somebody. And then I started getting a really bad attitude and really negative around them. And I started to pull back from them, all because of a lie that I told myself, not the other way around. So if you're thinking they don't care about me, here's what I'm going to challenge you. Find out, is that true? You have to ask yourself, who told me that? And if no one told me that, then I challenge you to really give an opportunity for deepening a friendship by going first in vulnerability and saying, hey, when X happened, when X was said, it made me feel like you don't care about me. Is that true? Now, this will tell you a lot, because if they respond with, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. No, that's definitely not true at all. And then they start sharing what is true. That's great. If they say, oh, stop being so sensitive. That, of course not. That's so unfair. And they start getting defensive because you're trying to be vulnerable and ask for the truth. Then that is something that you need to take hold of and maybe set up some appropriate boundaries moving forward. Because if they're receiving your actual open-handedness, trying to find out, is this lie I'm telling myself true or not? And they're meeting it with, how dare you think that of me? Then they are not necessarily in the right frame of mind to be having that conversation. And another variant of this that seems to soften the blow in conversations like this is one that I learned from Dr. John Deloney. And it's starting with, hey, can I have your help? Because the story I'm telling myself is that you don't care about me based on this, this, and this. Can you help? Can you help me tell my brain what's actually true? And giving them that option, that seems to help because you are genuinely asking them for help. Not defend yourself, make your case, make your argument, and then I'll decide. You're genuinely asking them to partner with you. And behind all of this is one word. And behind all of these thoughts is one through line. It's one word that is really the undertone of all of this, and it is assumptions. If we're going to assume, then we have to assume good intentions. When we assume what others think about us or project negative intent before giving someone the opportunity to show and share what is actually true, we are absolutely damaging and self-sabotaging our own friendships at that point because we're not letting anyone else override the thoughts that we're telling ourselves. It could come up in things like this. Well, they should know. Why should somebody be able to read your mind and know that? I mean, when you think about it, that's what we're really saying. They should know. What? No. If you've had a conversation or multiple conversations, because we are human, sometimes we forget, then that's another thing. But just out of nowhere, assuming somebody should know something about you, what you do or do not appreciate, I think is unfair. So instead of assuming, we need to ask. We need to clarify. And the only type of assuming we should do is assuming good intentions. And yes, you can assume good intentions and find out that maybe somebody was malicious. Well, you find out through a pattern and a series of continued, unchanging behavior after you've given opportunities for conversations and opportunities for change. I actually do a whole episode about what I call the ACE method, assumptions, communications, and expectations. You can check it out up here. But here is the truth, and you need to know this and believe it. You are worth building incredibly rich, meaningful friendships. You are worth being trusted. You are worth being cared for, and you are worth becoming and embodying the type of friend that you yourself are looking for. Let's rewrite the thoughts that have been sabotaging our friendships and remind ourselves just how valuable and worthy we really are. Catch you next time.